Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News. This is a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you might care about. Last week I tried to do a live version of the news video, which went well, but not as well as I hoped it would. So if you missed that, there will be a link in the info card right here. But with that being said, I'm a little bit sick right now and I have a ton to do to get ready for our trail jam, which is tomorrow. So I'm going to only be picking a few of my favorite videos to talk in depth about when it comes to the videos. And then really, there was only a bunch of other interview videos to talk about this week. So we're going to talk about a few of those. I'm going to try to keep it as concise and to the point as I can. With that being said, I mentioned the trail jam. We have a trail jam going on at Apple Creek Trails in Apple Creek, Ohio. The flyer is right here. If you can make it out tomorrow, you're definitely not going to regret it. The creek jump part is always insane. I'll link last year's jam video right here. You are going to have a great time if you come out. So if you're in the area, definitely recommend it. Everyone is invited. And then after that, I want to start with the news for this week. And the first thing, and I'm not sure exactly where to put it, so we're going to talk about it first, and that is the BMX Hall of Fame 2018 inductees. They've announced their class of 2018, which includes a few riders that you might have heard of. As the racer, they picked Brian Foster. As the first gen freestyle person, they picked Rick Moliterno, and the next gen freestyle person, they picked Fuzzy Hall. There's more information about these guys as well as all of the other inductees. If you follow the link in the description below, it takes you to the USA BMX website. There's also links in the description below to everything that we're going to be talking about today in the order that it's talked about. So if at any point in the video you want to check something out, information and links will be in the description below. And with that being said, there's a few things to talk about in the sponsor news for this week. The first one is that Godziek is now on Colony BMX, and separately there was a Colony bike check from David, so if you're interested in that, check it out. There's also the news that Greg Illingworth is now on Profile. And then we can move on to the contest and jam news for this week. As I said earlier, we've got a trail jam going on. You should definitely hit it up if you can. There's also a highlights video from the Cult in Vans AM 2018. And that's it for the contest and jam news for this week. So we can move right on into the videos. The first video that I want to talk about this week is from Props issue 79, and it's the Bobbie Altiser promo. Hands down, my favorite video of the week. I don't care if I'm being biased, just because I love Bobbie and his riding. It was super interesting to get to know him a little bit more and hear him talk about his hometown, how he grew up riding, and see all of these pictures of Bobbie as a kid. Super awesome. And the riding in this one, holy crap. Just the best front brake riding that you'll see all week, maybe even all month. Who knows, maybe even all year. Bobbie is an absolute shredder on his bike. Quadruple nose pick whip. Wrap your head around that. 1, 2, 3, 4 nose pick whips on one quarter pipe in one trick. And he might have even came from an ice pick or something like that. So insane. Bobbie is one of my favorite people just in general, just because of how awesome and nice he is. All of the front brake guys are just awesome. So whenever you get something like this, you've got to enjoy it. And if you enjoy this one enough, maybe you'll even be interested in picking up issue 79 from Props. And then after that, we had a video from Adam Banton called 100F Freestyle. I'm assuming that is 100 degrees Fahrenheit freestyle, because if you didn't know, Adam lives out in the middle of the desert where it's 100 degrees or more, even sometimes 120 degrees every single day, and he goes out and rides in it and films. And with that, he came up with this video, which gave me so many ideas while I was watching it that it honestly made me want to stop the video and just go ride. But knowing that I'm sick and that it was like 9:30 in the morning, I couldn't do that, and it just says something about the video that it had me so motivated to ride at 9:30 in the morning that I wanted to stop it even while being sick, just to go out and ride. There were also more than a few clips in this video that looked way easier than I bet they were, and Adam made everything in this video looks so easy, which there are a few tricks in there that, just judging by the way that the bike moved, it was very obvious that they were not as easy as Adam made them look. So if you're into creative riding and stuff that's just different than what you see every day, this is one that you're definitely going to want to check out. And how Adam got into the toothpick stall in the second to last clip is literally and legitimately magical. The next video that I want to talk about this week is from Fit Bike Co, and it's a video called Stampede. I put this one towards the top of my list before I even watched the videos because I had a feeling that it was going to land on the top of the list for this week, which it did. And in watching so, all of these guys, Austin Augie, Matt Nordstrom, Ethan Courier, and Jordan Hengo, come together perfectly to make a video that was entertaining all the way throughout, with burly riding, technical riding, everything that you can think of, all in the streets of Calgary, Canada, making just an amazing video, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And I also have to point out how many security guards there were in the video being cool. It almost seemed like half of the B-roll was guys fist bumping the security guards and just security guards being cool in general, which leads me to believe that if this spreads, Calgary, Canada might become the next Barcelona. And that leads me into the last video that I want to talk in depth about this week. It's called A Bike for Che, a Flatland BMX Miracle. This is another one from this week that you just absolutely have to watch. A bunch of guys come together and get a brand new bike together for Che, who lives and rides in Nigeria, after they saw video of him trying to ride on what looked like a beaten down heavy Haro. Just the reaction from not only Che, but also his friends while opening the box with the bike in it is completely worth watching the rest of the video for. And that's not to say that the rest of the video isn't worth watching, because it absolutely is. It's just that that part alone is just so good and so worth watching the video for. And it really should serve as a reminder to not take anything for granted, because there are people out there in the world who love BMX just as much as you might or I might, who don't have the ease of access to it that we have. So the next time that you think about complaining about your local park or your local bike shop or anything like that, think about the fact that there's this dude in Nigeria that was riding a super heavy bike, and he couldn't get a better bike on his own because of shipping costs or whatever the reasons might have been. And for him to progress the way that it showed in the video, and for him to possibly reach his full potential within riding BMX, other people had to intervene and get him a bike, because it was clear that he couldn't get that far with the bike that he had, or at least not as quickly. So it just serves as a reminder to not take things for granted, not your local park, not your local bike shop, or even your friends that you have around to ride with, because getting one bike for this guy to ride was hard enough, let alone getting 3 of them for the other 2 guys that were in the video with him. And with that being said, that's the last video that I want to talk in depth about this week. But this week there were so many videos that came out that I have a list of over 10 videos for you guys to check out. So let's run through those right now. The first one is called Raw Jibs, and it's from the Sunday Bikes team in Cologne. Then Performance BMX in Brussels, followed by Best of the Transmission DVD from BSD, and then a video called Brainstorm with Jaden Chipman from ELVTD, followed by Villij 2018 The Beginning, Curtis Cantwell and Donovan Allen's 440 volts DVD sections, followed by Hoder Vs The Bridge, which is definitely one that you should check out, Weird and Revered Citified with Justin Schwanke, and then Leandro Moreira at Caracas Trails. That's all of the videos from this week. Then we had some quickie check it out if you care news in the form of a couple bike checks. The first one is a What I Ride bike check from Ride BMX with Denim Cox, and then a Joe Battaglia bike check, followed by the products from this week. The first one that I want to talk about is the new Nowear BMX Jacob Thiem JTP stem that was released on their website this week. And with that came a promo video for the stem from Jacob Thiem. Fame. Jacob is seriously such an amazing and underrated rider. He might not be as underrated as he just is unknown, because as soon as he becomes known and heard of in the BMX industry, he's going to blow up. He's seriously that amazing of a rider. He's actually out in Feast, Edmonton right now going to compete, so hopefully he makes the finals and gets discovered, because absolutely deserves everything that he has coming to them. This video is so full of amazing riding that I don't want to point out too much of it because it's only like a minute long. Absolutely worth checking out, and the banger is a Twix foot jam. Wrap your head around what that could possibly mean, and then hit the link in the description below to check it out. Then we had Kyle Baldock's signature Killabee folding tire from Total. This one comes in at 15.5 ounces with a max pressure of 110 psi, as well as Cult Summer soft goods being released this week, and the Sunday 2019 complete bikes are officially out now and available. Then we had 2 product promo videos come out this week. The first one is from Freddie Househam, and it's on the United Knightsbridge frame, followed by Felix Prangenberg's Pathfinder promo video from We the People. And then we can move on to what has become my favorite segment of the news video, and that is the interviews segment. The first one that I want to talk about this week is John Saxton's top 5 craziest ramp builds. This is by far my favorite interview video from this week, maybe just because it's something different, or it's because it was so interesting to hear about. At first glance, you might not think that ramp build stories could be completely crazy, but after watching John explain the first one, you'll understand that it's more about the situations themselves, whether it be the situations for building the ramps or the situations of the ramps and where they'll be in general. This really applies to all of them except for maybe the skate park built from salt. Yes, skate park built from salt. That whole entire situation and ramp build itself, completely insane. If you're interested in hearing about this and the other top 4 craziest ramp builds from John Saxton, hit the link in the description below. Then we had a video called A Wicked Ride, which was a history of BMX freestyle in New England. This one is an hour and 44 minutes long, and it's all about the history of BMX in New England, just like the title says. Then we had another rollback podcast from Vital BMX. This time it's with Anthony Napolitan. I haven't got super far into this one yet, but from what I have listened to, they talk about the crazy front flip fence lander. You all know what I'm talking about. We reported on it whenever it happened. It's definitely something that I've wanted to hear about since that video came out. So at the very least, from what I've listened to, if you're interested in that situation and how it happened and just in general anything about it, it's definitely worth listening to the first part of this podcast. And then we had one from Madeira about what's in Erik Elstran's backpack. Now, the concept of the contents of someone's backpack might not be too intriguing for most riders, but with how interesting Erik is as a person and a rider, this one is definitely cool to watch and had me entertained all the way to the end. Then we had another Your Favorite Rider's Favorite Rider from Ride BMX come out, this time with Colin Verignac, followed by another The Gully Booth from The Gully Factory with Tony Maloof, this time with Stevie Churchill. And then the last thing that I want to talk about this week is the BMX In Our Blood podcast, this time with Matt Coplon. I've only got part of the way into this one as well, but from everything that I've heard so far and just knowing about Matt in general and having met him a couple times, I can definitely say that this is going to be one that you're not going to get bored with, and that Matt is someone who will give a great interview, and just listening to someone who's such an integral part of one of BMX's biggest and most well-known brands is awesome in itself. And with that being said, that's everything that I want to talk about this week as far as BMX news goes. If you like the video, if you have any favorite stories, any favorite videos from this week, if I messed up, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below as well. I come out with this BMX news video every Friday, as well as tips and tricks videos on Tuesdays and other types of riding videos and streams throughout the week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.